So this is about the second question. The third is practices for living healthy from integral point of view. So, it's at one level, it's very simple. To each, we must allow some kind of, what do we need? We need some nourishment, we need some basic exercise to keep it toned up. So, for the body, we know that body should eat in moderation. Mother was very particular about these food fats nowadays. Don't drink milk, don't do this. No, these extreme views are not needed. I'll keep fast. So people will eat like an ogre for 10 days or whatever. One day they will keep fast. So this is a kind of imbalance. So the principle here is consistent with harmony, which is balance and moderation. Take whatever you want to take, but take it in moderation. Um, there is one thing which, over a period of time, I can't say that I have mastered it, but I have slowly learned or am learning, and it is something very interesting which of course Steve Jobs said in a different context. He said stay hungry. So I've seen that if you eat to keep your body full, then you tend to slowly increase the diet. Why? Because um, now the full changes. It's like you have eaten little more, so next time you eat more. Now this is something which because fond of food, so this over a period of time I have observed trying all tricks. Then whereas if you try to make it just a little less, then you will see that your appetite will slowly come back to a normal uh, normal hunger. So basically, we don't need to eat so much of food. So eating in moderation, eating a balanced diet. Balanced diet is not a mentally balanced diet. Eat a simple vegetarian diet is good enough. Those who are doing very vigorous exercises and all can take an egg. Meat is really not needed, but if somebody wants to eat it, is his problem. But it's not really needed. The question of vegetarian and non-vegetarian is a big question, and I'm not getting into it. But the body needs food; it needs exercise. So this is something which is missing a lot unfortunately, in modern India, especially in urban life, because the life is centered around money. So what happens? People from morning till evening, they are uh, busy earning money. So then sometimes people find a strange excuse. They say, no, no, but in my workplace I do a lot of exercise. No, there is a difference between doing exercise unconsciously and doing it consciously. So, what is needed is to take out time specifically and devote it to exercise, wherein consciously we are doing it with the aim to open the body and make it receptive to the higher forces. This is the purpose, that the body should become more receptive. Now, there are a number of exercises. Some people talk about asanas and some talk about aerobics, etc. Mother was very clear on it that any kind of exercise which is done with a yogic attitude can become yogic exercise. So what is yogic attitude? Yogic attitude is we are doing exercise as an offering to the divine, and we are doing exercise as a means of opening the body to the divine. This is the yogic attitude. So we inwardly do a prayer, and then time to time there is a kind of remembrance which is going on. Now, one of the simplest of exercise is walking. Even till date, if we really read through literature, half an hour or 40 minutes of walk every day, 5 days a week, gives, from the point of view of basic health, provides us good enough to keep the body going. It's like, it keeps it stoned up. We don't need to do bodybuilding and muscle building. That's not really necessary. Another thing the mother says, something very interesting, is that when we climb up and down the stairs, when we normally walking, so we can turn it into a conscious means and a conscious process. So essentially, every physical activity should become a conscious process. Now, simple things which are there, which we often miss in a typical household. So what happens? Food is served, and then somebody picks up the thali and takes it. Now, it should be a habit in every household that you pick your own thali and take it. It's a very simple habit. You want water, take the glass and go to the tap and fill it. Simple things like that. Uh, so that there is some kind of a movement which is going on in the body, and the body is not just these muscles, even the eye muscles. So nowadays they advise blink, so there is a whole system. Then the third, with regard to the body, is a right balance between work and rest. So we must provide, every body, not just everybody, needs some work, but along with that there is need for rest. So there must be a good amount of time for that. And one of the ways to rest is, just whenever we have some time to sit in quietude. And this quietude is very rejuvenating. At night, about 6.5 to 7 hours of sleep, most people will need. But this sleep should not become very heavy. So, sleeping just, watching a very active program or after a heated discussion, animated discussion, is not a very good thing. So, some kind of a gentle music which is running in the environment, maybe some soup or juice. And if lot of thoughts are coming in the mind, which are hovering around, don't go to sleep in that state, because it will continue, we'll continue in that same state. So to learn to relax the body, and there's several ways of relaxing the body. One of them is to just lie down and think of something vast, or like, as if you are floating like a water lily in a pond, or thinking of the ocean. My favorite is that my head is in mother's lap. So various ways, we can do it. And when we do that, a simple widening exercise, that, we are becoming one with the sky, then slowly we slip into a beautiful sleep. It should be that process. It should not be a, exhausted, therefore I go into sleep. So food, work, rest, exercise, sleep. These are the things of the body. Then regarding vital energy. Now, vital energy, we waste a lot of energy to start with. First, there are two things to be remembered. Obviously, if we are wasting more than what we receive, then we are going to deplete our energies. And the second is, what is the quality of energy that we are receiving into the body. So, some of the ways through which we waste a lot of energy, one commonest way is gossip. And even without gossip, just conversation, chit chat, all the time one has to speak, speak, speak. So, well, one can speak, but speaking should be meaningful, so that when you are speaking, then also you are drawing something from above. Basically, it's not so much about speech, but the speech should flow. So conversations should be such wherein we are drawing something very beautiful from the higher domains, which is not possible with anyone and everybody. So generally, it's a good policy to stay as much quiet as possible, not to just go about conversing with anyone and everyone, because one throws a lot of energy. Especially gossip is a very degrading thing, where we are always talking about somebody else and somebody else and somebody else, full of critical remarks. So this is one part of it. Second, one is through the mouth, and the second way we waste energy is through sexual activity. So sexual activity should always be in a regulated balance, sanyama. That's what Sri Aurobindo advocates, and sanyama with an eventual will for mastery. Some people do it like this because they read about brahmacharya, so they say, okay, from tomorrow I am going to be celibate. It doesn't work like that. It's a very deeply rooted in the human body, and one has to understand that there is a process. You can't, even if you want to do it like that, many times we harbor the same thing inside, and it starts taking different devious channels. So there has to be regulation. So once we understand this about vital energy, that conserve, don't throw it, don't waste it meaninglessly. And then to draw from purer founts of energy. So there are 4 sources of vital energy. One is from food. So food is good, but well, there we come, that vegetarian food, the advantage it brings in only that kind of vital energy which is needed for the body. Because fruits are just a little bit of vital and matter. But animals, when we eat, especially, not chicken, but larger animals, what are we taking? These animals are prone to rage, fear, and especially when they are being slaughtered in slaughterhouses, they are in a very state of fear, and they are prone to a rage. So when you take that food, so it is the consciousness which is coming inside. So it makes the being and the body very heavy. So animal food is actually not good for the for our mind's development. And though it is advocated for those who need, like a Kshatriya warrior, he needs to be a go-getter, or somebody who is willing to fight a end-on battle. So there probably it's all right. a non-vegetarian food. But especially for those who want to take up yoga, who want to at least refine their thoughts, etc., it's better to stick to vegetarian food. So food is one source. Then with food, it's not just the food element, but where it is prepared, the occult atmosphere that carries that surrounds it. So that's why when we go to, so often people say we had gone to hotel and we ate something and we are not well. It's not about hotel, it's the atmosphere so in which the food was prepared, because the people who are handling food, they may be wearing gloves, but they may be usual, the kind of atmosphere that goes on in that. And so that atmosphere, many of these hotels where a lot of desires are thrown into the atmosphere, people are flocking just because of greed, so the atmosphere is not very good. So it's better to eat at home, and home means you can eat at a friend's home, but avoid as much as possible actually going to the hotel and eating there. Sometimes it's okay, but generally, as a rule, some people, we can get away, so that's not very healthy. So this is the third aspect with regard to food. And of course, instead of greed dominating it, it should be more of need. Yes, it's good to once in a while take, people give in to greed, but more important is taste. Yes, taste is important. The Gita itself speaks about it. It should be pleasant, because if it's not pleasant to you, then the whole mind and mind machinery is working in a very opposite way. That, oh my God, it's so. Food should be tasty, it should be pleasant. But there is a difference between food being pleasant and we are just rushing on the cry of the palate. This difference we must understand. So, this is the aspect with regard to food. The second source of energy is through vital interchange. So, vital interchange is person is feeling bored, dull, and sulking, and you speak to somebody and see phone comes, 1 hour animated conversation. So what happens, you start drawing energy. All conversation is an interchange of energy. So it's okay if you want to interchange energies, but otherwise if you don't want to interchange energies, keep it to a minimum. So there are some energies you can interchange, but one must be careful. And mother says that it is unfortunately one of the sources of problems. So we must be careful about the friends we keep, the people with whom we are conversing, because they will be an interchange of energies. So this is the second source. And the third is from the environment in general. So like people draw to nature and they find that they can draw a lot of good energy from there. But again, the environmental energy is still of a very material vital kind. The fourth, which is the higher kind, is through aspiration opening to spiritual domains. So this comes as we begin to practice meditation, opening to higher domains, higher kinds of spiritual energy. That is the purest fuel. So this is about the vital, about the mind. Fill the mind with beautiful positive thoughts. We all know it. So people say how to do it. Very simple, very, very simple. It's the simplest thing to do. How? Read a good book which uplifts us. It's readily available. See, reading a book of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, it's a satsang. Purest form of satsang. What is it? It's Mother and Sri Aurobindo talking to us. Instead of saying, oh my God, I have to read the book, it's very difficult, it's very complicated. Forget about it. Supposing Sri Aurobindo and the mother are sitting there and they say, come sit in my company. So will you ask, sir, what are you going to speak today? Let me decide whether what you will speak I'll understand or not. Will you ask these questions? Just go and sit there. He may speak something and you may feel like lolling. It's okay. Very often when mother would give meditation in the playground, sometimes children will go to sleep and people ask, she said, it's okay, let them sleep here. So it's much better to read these books which are uplifting than all kinds of things. Mind is filled with all kinds, it's very strange that corona cases, we could actually make a statistical correlation. The number of corona cases were directly related to what was coming on TV. Every day we saw cases rising and cases kept rising. Suddenly, after a while, you must have noticed, perhaps because the TRP started falling. So people switched off from corona to Bollywood to, drugs and all that. And suddenly you see the corona cases have started coming down. Is it because of natural immunity? Natural immunity doesn't develop so fast. It's simply because now that factor is gone, that feeding constantly. So We should be careful about the food we are giving to the mind. And that's again discussing with people, what are we really discussing, what kind of books we are reading, newspaper, what news we are watching, what programs we are watching. So all this is an impact upon the mind. So let the mind be filled with beautiful thoughts, and one of the best ways, books of Mother Sri Aurobindo, Swami Vivekananda, or the company of people who can, give uplifting thoughts. So this is and of course the ability of the mind to meditate and fall into a state of quietude. So these are the three levels. Psychic and spiritual is something which we'll not talk about now, but we must know that within us there is a light which no grief can touch. And every day we should make some effort to find it, as a person who is very thirsty looks for water. This is the secret. We don't value it. That's a sad part. We talk about psychic and there are books, psychic education, or tell me about psychic. It just stops there. We really not make an effort. There is something like that, and something priceless pearl. Okay, it is effort, so what? It's worth finding, because once we find, it's the only thing which is permanent, which will go from life to life. It is the account which, the moment we are born, we are told you had found your psychic, take it. If we have not found, then it's all kinds of mess again. So, even if it takes 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, lifetime search, every day to sit and just concentrate in the heart with the will to find the psychic, the soul within us. And yes, opening to the higher energies through mantras, through music, through various kinds of, practices of concentration, the psychic and spiritual element. One simplest rule in Sri Aurobindo's yoga is to open to the mother. And that contains everything within itself. So this about some practices of living healthy.